Hello. Marcy Ben from Think Premium JA, trying out a new angle. Today's quick message brought to you through, my association with IslandNet. Again, through our sales connector services. This message is 6 reasons why your business is dropping or losing calls. Let's see how long I can keep this angle going. It's not the easiest angle for me to maintain, but what a lot of people don't realize is every day that your business is not able to receive calls, your business is losing money. So especially if you're in a service-led business like insurance, mortgage, real estate in general, you not receiving calls is a big issue. That's a problem. That is a problem. So 6 reasons why your business could be losing calls is 1, poor network coverage. Like, if you are not able to adequately be in an area where you have enough network signal, you're going to miss calls. I think that goes without saying. Even if you're using IP handsets, if you're in an area where there's just not enough network coverage, you're going to miss out. As a matter of fact, something that people don't even talk about as well, especially with like those handsets that you can buy in your local pharmacy. They're technically internet based, but not really. If you have a Bluetooth device beside those handsets, that can affect how well the phone receives network signals. So you might be losing out on calls due to something like an interference because of a Bluetooth device or other device in close proximity. So interference from other devices can also cause you to lose network signal as well. So for instance, if you have your phone near the microwave, whether it's an IP handset or the handset that you can buy in your pharmacy or whatever, that or another cordless phone, or even let's say your Bluetooth headphones, they can disrupt your phone signal. It happens. As a matter of fact, you really shouldn't even be having your cell phone near your microwave. That's another issue as well. And it can lead to drop calls. If that happens consistently, to minimize the interference, even though I'm not an IT technician, I'm in sales, I'm not in IT like that, I would say just keep your devices away from those things that can cause interference, and you'll be surprised how your network connection will improve. Another thing as well, your network could be very congested. Like, let's say that you have too many users using the network simultaneously. It puts it under pressure, and it's going to degrade your call quality. So therefore, like, if you're going to have, let's say, 35 people on the phone at the same time, sometimes it might be best to have different lines. So when one person is on one line, another person's on another line. So at least it's not congested internally. But where a network is concerned, let's say you're making calls at peak hours, when everybody's in an office, like between the 8 to 5 period, or even like 11 to 1. You're going to have some issues. These things do happen, especially in more populated areas. So to mitigate this, you might want to think about upgrading your network, or maybe getting some other lines, or maybe even like revisiting the quality of service agreement with your network provider to see what can be done to enhance your coverage. With IslandNet, because we are a fully licensed and registered phone and internet company with the Office of Utilities and Regulations, we have our own phone network, so we can totally assist where that's concerned, and our rates are quite competitive. We have pretty competitive base rates for minutes, whether they're fixed or mobile calls, local and international. So you can definitely reach out to me to learn more. I'd totally love to help you with that. Another thing that could really be affecting your phone experience is hardware and software issues. That's another thing as well. So if you're using like outdated software, let's say you're using IP handsets, and the soft phone feature, the soft phone application you're using to make the calls is outdated, or it needs to be upgraded, you might have issues with receiving and sending calls. By the way, I don't know if I'd mentioned, but IslandNet has an app. It's actually a custom dialer, the Anywhere Data app. So you can actually get 30 minutes free each month, and you can buy your own minutes. It's prepaid, just like you would with your regular mobile number, and you can make calls. You don't even need the internet, so neither the sender nor receiver has to have internet on the phone for calls to go through, and your calls go through the app. The app is really a dialer, so it's quite handy. It's a very handy app, and again, you're using the IslandNet phone network, so our minutes are quite competitive in comparison to our competitors. And a fun fact to note, everybody uses per second billing. So but the rates are still competitive in comparison to everybody else, so you might want to check that out. You know, another thing that could be affecting why your calls keep dropping, it could be bandwidth limitations. So if let's say your business uses IP, voice over IP, voice over internet protocol, or calls over the internet, right? If it's using that technology, then you have to ensure your internet connection is good. You cannot use voice over internet and your internet connection is not stable. Don't do it. If you don't have 40 megabytes upload and 40 megabytes download speed, I would recommend going for a voice over IP solution. That's just me. If you want to spend your money and do it, man, hey, do you. But I just wouldn't recommend it, because you're not going to have a good experience. You're probably going to regret it after a couple of days or weeks, depending on what your situation is like. So you really want to, if you're having issues with your cloud voice solution, you may want to look on your existing internet connection. Do you have enough bandwidth to support a voice over IP setup? And you need to also consider your voice traffic as well. Like, again, how many persons are making calls at the same time? How often are calls being made? What type of calls being made? Is it video conferencing calls or just regular voice only calls? Like, what's happening? Because depending on how much and how often these calls are happening, you might really need to think about upgrading your bandwidth. Yeah, I don't like how my phone's moving. Sorry. Another thing that you want to look out for as well that could be causing issues with your phones is your network configuration. Your handsets probably were not properly configured to work on your network. So it could be an issue with like your firewall settings, for example, as well. Like, for example, with the failover, in the event that there's an internet outage, the internet connection will switch from one provider to another, especially in prioritizing certain applications like cloud voice, for instance, or even routing issues. Like maybe it could be issues with routing messages across the network, or the equipment used for that, like your switches, etc. You know, these things can lead to drop calls, because if it's not properly set up, you can't expect that it's to work at its best. So you might want to like regularly review and update your network configuration to ensure that your network is performing optimally, so you get the best possible voice experience. And you know, with IslandNet, they actually offer smart hand services where you can have a technician come by and assess your phone network. You know, some things that could be causing you to miss calls. Some of your phone lines might not be working, like the call hunting feature, where the PVX the PVX searches through the different numbers as persons call to ensure they're actually working. So it routes to the different numbers. Like when one line is being used, it routes to another line automatically. If the number that is routing the calls to isn't working, then it's just, the call's just gonna go away. Just gonna disappear in thin air after about a couple rings. So you might want to have a technician come in and check that. We can totally do that for you. Obviously, it's at a cost, but at least you can know which lines are not working and why. And they also can look on your entire setup to see if it's a network configuration issue. Is it a bandwidth issue? Does somebody have the phone near to a microwave issue? All sorts of things like that, to see what could be causing issues with the network and see how best we can implement a solution that will meet your needs. So if you are interested in a smart hands assessment, please DM me down below. and we can totally set one up for you. I can totally give you a quote on that. But if all this helps, please like, share, comment, and subscribe. And I want you to comment down below and say that I want reliable phone calls. Yeah, I want reliable phone calls. I want that for you. All right, so Marcy Ben from Think Premium JA here in association with IslandNet. Have a wonderful day. Take care. And remember to never stop dreaming. Bye-bye.